Okay, we should be live. Just want to see. All right. Hello, everybody. We are live. It's so great to be here with everybody. Hello, Reina. Thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure to have you here with me.
Hello, everyone, and hello, everybody who are joining us on this fine Thursday morning in the UK.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, in South Africa as well. And today we got a special topic that is close to everyone's heart, but yet we tend to go the opposite direction. Instead of going towards it, we tend to go towards the opposite side of the pendulum, right? So today we are talking about the importance of silence, right? It is something that we all crave, but yet we do not necessarily go out and seek it or to create the space to be in silence. So a lot of people go into meditation to get this space, but when they do, they find that even though their intention is to become quiet, they just don't necessarily tap into that silence they know that there is within, because of all the mind chatter that goes on inside of their heads. So Raina, I got a question for you. When it comes to silence, how often do you find yourself in this space of pure silence that you know is within you?
This is a good question. I need to consciously go into that space because if I don't, my monkey mind is constantly onto the next challenge, onto the next step, onto the next thing. And sometimes it's using it very well for escaping that need to go within and to go inwards and to see what do I actually need rather than, what is there. And yes, I need to consciously go into the silence. And for me, it needs to be a physical silence, which is not part of my lifestyle at the moment, as the children are still very young, and I am grateful for this, but it literally needs to be a time for myself. That's why I like to wake up earlier in the morning and then sit with myself and spend time with myself and just really sit in the silence. What about you, Ruan?
Yeah, well, for me, as well, physical silence is the best. For me, I find it in nature, a space where you don't hear cars in the background. There's no like man-made object that's disturbing the silence that's there. And once you find that space where there's no artificial noise, basically, and you start hearing the natural noise that is like the sounds of the birds and the leaves of the trees making a noise. But that actually is a conduit for meditation because it's natural sound, it's not man-made sound, right? So once you go into meditation or just like silence your monkey mind, right, in that space, for me, I find it so much more liberating because you're able to go a step deeper down, because there's always a layer deeper to go. And yeah, for me, when I do not have that natural assistance, right, in nature, then it's just important to close your ears, get something. I got earplugs, which I put into just silence the external so that you can have more internal power. Because if there's distractions on the outside, you just so easily be able to not see your intention through till the end because of the distractions.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Yes. It is weird when because we have all these senses, right? That
Mm,
we constantly are distracted by what we see, by what we hear, by what we feel even. Or I was journaling this morning, and it's like about the flow of energy that we have within, and how this flow of energy is disturbed, or how you are the one blocking that flow of energy, um, and how the mind and the heart don't have the coherence, basically, which is it's so interesting when you sit down and journal, and you are in silence, and you can just be with your own thoughts, not even with your own thoughts, I think going a level deeper and beyond your thoughts and your emotions, but just be in the presence of the divinity that flows within.
mm,
And this is where amazing ideas are born. This is where you can sit in grace, you can be one with grace. And I have been feeling really guided lately to shift any kind of expectation that I have from an event, from myself, even, from others, into an absolute appreciation and grace for all that there is. And it has really supported me in not blocking my energy flow with destructive patternings of self-criticism, self-judgment, and maybe judgment for others, or blaming, or sitting in the victimhood mode. It has really, really supported me.
yeah, that's great. Um, Hello, Sam. Thank you so much for joining us. You sent a comment. Hello to one another, Reina. It's always so good to see people and communicating with people that's joining us live. Yeah, so Reina, as you mentioned, that flow that comes to you when you're in that space, right? I mean, where it's a source of like infinite ideas, that basically that you can tap into, consciously tap into it. And I find it also fascinating the process that each one of us got our own process of tapping into this like stillness within, right? But there's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's just some people like go like boom, they into it, where others like, okay, I need to meditate for 10 minutes and do some breath work, and then they'll be able to do it, right? So just out of curiosity, what is the common trend that you see yourself before you start getting into this flow state? What are some things that pop up for you that you do innately to tap into this flow?
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So first of all, is my intention, setting an intention to consciously be in that space. And it's kind of longing for it. That's why, like, I tend to do it in the morning. I wish and I believe that is some time, when I have enough practice, when I click with my fingers, I would be instantly in that state. I would love to believe that this is going to be possible for me. As it is really hard to like quiet my monkey mind down. But again, with the power of intention, sometimes what I do, I'm like, okay, so you have all these thoughts and all these things going through. Like, I'm speaking to you right now, I have this idea about our symposium that we're going to host on the 23rd of June. And I'm like, okay, stay there. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, quiet down the volume. And I'm in that state already, I'm like, oh, wow, this is amazing. This is so great. So it's just, I think you let the breath then breathing you is really powerful. And when you shift your awareness and your focus, then can you sense even like a more feminine flow of energy comes through as soon as I have done this, rather than a masculine of go, 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 do, yeah?
Yeah.
It's like you instantly absolutely can shift in that. So I think the power of intention is one of those things that is innate, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Oh, all right. That's amazing. And do you know what's the feminine side where the masculine is like go, go, go? Do you know what the feminine version of that is?
What is the feminine version of it?
B, 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 B.
I love this.
Yeah.
it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we, as human beings, I think that we haven't really tapped into that divine power within. We don't allow ourselves to be. And I've mentioned this before. You don't have to be a status or anybody or anything. Just for breathing here right now, it's enough, and you are, and you can just be there. Um,
Yeah.
and isn't it the most amazing thing that you can do in life? Just be.
Yeah, well, on this topic, so a lot of people, when it comes to like a purpose in life, they think that, okay, there must be something great that they came here to achieve, right? But we as conduits of light and energy, right? We are just here as transmitters and receivers for cosmic energy to be anchored in. So just us being here and breathing and being alive already does that automatically, right? If you can do it consciously, it's like times 100% effect, right? But then when it comes to like the physical, because our bodies, because there's so many layers to existence, right? But our physical body, which is like the kernel of the onion, right? Literally also wants a piece of the pie. It's like also wants a piece of the action. So that's why everybody's trying to say, no, they need to transcend the ego. And no, our physicality is the ego, right? It needs to be sustained at the same time because it's part of us. It's not something that is separate of us. If we can create coherence as well in this physicality, instead of like rejecting everything that comes up, no, don't amplify or magnify it, just let it be, right? And if it wants to make a difference in the world by contributing something, allow it to happen, allow it to unfold, right?
Absolutely. I really like what you said, because yes, spiritual teachers talk about the transcendence of the ego, and what you mentioned is really important because I believe as soon as you make coherence of the ego and of the mind, if you want, okay, to your heart and to your divinity within, I think then ego can be used as the willpower and the drive and the masculinity within oneself. So this is where you are then in the balance of life. So you won't be in struggle. You would have the divine guidance always. It's always there, whether we notice it or not. And then you would have the action that you need to do through your ego, through your willpower, from a space of intention for the highest good of all. It's always so important. Remember universal laws, guys, right? Whatever you give out comes back to you. So it's so important to follow those steps, and then life wouldn't be a struggle, and life is not supposed to be a struggle. Life is such a precious gift, and we are only to be here alive and to experience the grace of God and the divinity is just the most amazing thing that can happen to a soul,
Yeah. Also, just to bring it back to like the silence of it all. So within every cell within our body, there's the divinity spark, right? And that creates all of them firing together, creates a bigger spark, which creates our aura, right? Because of all that energy that's being transmuted or transmitted, not transmuted. So when we tap into the silence, right, we get to have a glimpse into a world that is more real than physicality, right? So we'll say, okay, wow, this is tangible, it's real. Okay, it is because we can experience, we can perceive it as real. But once we tap into the silence, and the more we do it, and the more we play around in that space of silence, we realize that, okay, the effects that moment that you took silence, even if you just take 5 minutes and really sit in that silence and create in that space, just an intention, as you mentioned earlier, Reina, and you formulate this intention and you give it a form in this silence. And you release it and you let go and you come back into physicality, right? Obviously, there is a delay. Nothing happens like boom, instantly. Let's say it could be the more energy you give it, the quicker it comes to you, right? If you're just going to give it a brief burst of energy, it might only come maybe in a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year, 2 years, 3 years even, right? Because spiritual time is not linear time. It is, there's a divine timing that goes towards it. So when you create and build a decent amount of energy around it, around that intention in the space of silence, and you let it go and you release it to infinite intelligence, you don't know how it's going to come to you, but you know because you already had it in that space of silence, it's going to come back to you in the physical. And then just trust that it's going to be, and then eventually you'll see as the divine time, as a train comes past, right, and you'll see whatever you created manifest in front of you, right? So what would you say, do you have any thoughts on that particular subject, Raina?
Yes, I mean, we have all been experiencing manifestation, right? We have
Yeah.
absolutely manifested every single thing, positive or negative. Our life, we have manifested it, right? So one important thing to know is that you are responsible for manifesting this. And sometimes it's hard to take the responsibility, and it's easier to stay in the space of somebody has done this to me, or this life happened to me this way and all that. But when you take the responsibility, the great power comes over you. So when you realize this, and when you set your intention, and you say, okay, even though I don't know how to create this, this is what I want to create. You don't even have to know in the very beginning. You just need to set an intention that you're willing to create this. I remember setting an intention on forgiveness once, and it was really tough. After holding that for many, many years, I was like, okay, even though I don't know how, I am willing to forgive. And I remember that this almost became an affirmation in my life for some time. And the more I kind of practice it on a daily basis, it was like a mantra almost, in my head. Then one day I woke up and I was like, wow, okay, I forgive, I let go, I forgive, I really forgive from my heart. This is when everything shifted. I experienced looking colors that they were around me, that were, everything was looking brighter, everything was, and it was this euphoria feeling that I experienced. It was absolutely amazing. So it's the same thing with manifesting in your life. So what you have manifested is like kind of experiencing life with enlightenment, with this bliss and joy. And if you are like setting an intention, and not even for physical things, yes, this works for physical things very well, as long as you have full faith that this is yours already, that you believe that you are worthy of having, that you are living from a space of having it already. So you are this person basically. Then it is going to manifest itself. It depends on you, how continuously you are living from a space of being that person, that this thing, that it's a physical thing, is going to come to you, whether this is a job opportunity, a thing, or even a relationship. But when we speak about setting an intention to become a better version of yourself, and sometimes we hold on to things for many, many years, especially if it is related to maybe trauma, or things that have happened in our childhood. When you set your intention, you kind of manifest the best version of yourself by being that open to do that. I don't know whether that makes sense, or I scattered it a bit. I feel like I've scattered it a little bit.
No, it's all good. Get it all out there. I love it.
Yeah. I do believe, guys, in these lives that we do, be open to receive whatever you need to hear, and your subconscious is going to take whatever you need to hear at this point. The more you go back to and re-listen to those lives that we do with Ruan, on a different, you're going to take it on a different level. So it's all fueled with a frequency and with an intention of serving you and for the highest good of all. So this is our intention behind those. So I just want to let you know that some things might not make sense, some things you might disagree with. If you disagree with, that's fine. You just let it go. Take whatever it's applicable to you in this journey right now that you are on, and open your minds, for a change, for a transformation that you can work on as you hear our discussions on the subjects that we are discussing in this podcast.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Raina. Yeah, and it's so important that just to be transparent about what our intentions are as well on these lives, because everybody that's watching is part of this energy collective that we are making, right? And that we are cultivating this all into the soup of life. So yeah, what personally my intention is similar to what Reina said, is that that the people listening, you joining in, listening now, walk away differently than what you came, and that you get what you need to get and not what you wanted to come and get. Because what we want to need at the end of the day is two different things. Yes, we want a fast car, we want a nice car, but what we really need in practical sense is a car that can get us from A to B, that is fuel efficient and everything like that, because we know in the long term, right? So it's important that we can make that distinction. And most of the time what we need is subtle. Our subconscious knows, it picks it up, and our conscious mind was like, oh, this is a good idea, and then boom, it sends it into the subconscious just like that. So yeah, if you guys do get anything out of this, we'll love to see it in the chat as well. We absolutely love all the chats. And on that, Sam also commented, she said, this is such a good subject. I find sometimes I drop easily into meditation and silence, stillness, and other times it requires much more concentration and my monkey mind keeps thinking. Yeah, that is so true. And I think it also depends on the magnetic field in the area. Once we start the process of meditating, for me personally, I love early in the mornings from 2 o'clock in the mornings onwards, because the magnetic field is just much more quieter. There's stillness on the magnetic field, because of, if you're in a busy area, each person is affecting the magnetic field that's there. And if you try to meditate on that space, it really disturbs and also fuels the monkey mind, because like everybody that mind that's chatters is going to just like say, okay, mind chatter now. So
I absolutely love this, and I have a question for you, which I have been thinking about on and off. It has been just like an observation, probably. It's not related to silence directly, but here is my question for you, Ruan. So, in certain area that you live, and you see, so say, for example, you have an intention of shifting your lifestyle and live in abundance, and abundance is a state of mind, not only material stuff. Okay, I mean, obviously the material is gonna come as a byproduct of your internal environment and abundant environment. And how can you influence the people who live in the area physically near you if they are living in a scarcity mindset? Is that possible at all? And how can you protect your energy from, if you feel that collective energy around you, how can you protect your energy, but at the same time shine your light so you inspire and influence them in a positive way as well, so they can shift into abundance and scarcity? Is that possible?
Yes, that's 100% possible. So let's take a look at the dynamics of like grid work and stuff like that. So you live in an area with a set population, and there's different grids on this planet, and one of them is the crystalline grid, which is also stores memories and frequencies. So if you go to an area where there's a battlefield, right, for instance, there's been a lot of death on that spot. If you go there, you'll feel like, whoa, this energy in this place is like so, there's like something off. You don't know what it is. Some places is so bad that you can actually feel and start hearing it. That's how dense those energies are. Okay. But it's like layers, sediment layers. If you take a look at in the physical fossils, that it was creatures living, and then all of a sudden something happened, covered them, and then life started growing on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then eventually somebody decided, let me dig here. Then they start digging, then they find what the fossils and stuff.
Okay.
So the same is true for energy work. So the area where you live is already a baseline energy. So what you can do is you can create another layer on top of that, which then those on top will feel that energy instead of the energy below. But because we are creating consciously, you need to feed that grid. Otherwise, something else will come and put another layer on top of that, because we are all conscious beings that's alive. And some people, we always create that.
Mm-hmm.
But then also on the other topic that you touch, to protect yourself, a part of the meditation group that are in, they got a protection protocol. And it's also on YouTube. I'll pop the link in the description below. It's non-physical spiritual technology, right? So basically the whole principle behind that protection protocol is you create there's a sphere of light that comes around you, and then you put extra light covering around it so that you're extra brighter. But then the actual protection comes through when you create a mirror that comes up and comes down and forms around you, because obviously mirrors reflect out. All right, so that means that any negative projection that's coming towards you gets transmuted because of the light that you hold inside, because of this protection, and then it bounces back that pure state. So you sending out, you're not sending them back what they sent you. You send back the transmuted effects of that, because energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed, and it cannot be destroyed. So you send it back to the sender, but just renewed and with a pure intention. And so yeah, I'll drop in the comments description afterwards if you guys want to go and do some protection protocol for that. I've done a couple of times, especially before and after meditations, which is really, really helpful. So yeah, just keep a lookout for that after the live. I'll pop it in there.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah,
I hope that answers your questions in a way.
Yes, it does actually. It does. And especially, I think when you, as you mentioned, consciously do this work, because we do this work unconsciously, right? So whatever we are projecting out, or whatever we are, as we are moving energy or energy in motion, our, it's like a ripple effect, isn't it? Everywhere you go, you affect people. Even if you don't speak, your energy is felt. Even if somebody comes into the room without opening their mouth, you feel that energy, right? Because we are this energy in motion.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to become conscious of how we show up in the world and what kind of energy, and that is through our pure intent. Because if you are pretending to be someone that you're not, if you are pretending and you are like, okay, I'm gonna be this, you show up as the best version of yourself, that someone that you want to be. But if your intent is not pure, and if your intent is not to the best, in the best interest of all involved, I think this is picked up straight away. And whatever you send out, you must understand that it's going to come back to you. It might not come back to you in this form, but as the physical law, it's the same with that universal law, that it's going to come back to you in divinely, timing. And again, it's not a karma by no means, but it's just the universal law. So we need to be very conscious of what our intentions are. And I think sometimes in order to understand what your true intention is, it's to drop back into that silence and to be like, okay, why, what is my intention actually, you know, what am I trying to do by, you know, doing this?
Yeah, I love it. And also, one thing that I feel guided to share is like, especially when it comes to um, where we are in the physical, because we live in a 15-dimensional time matrix, right? We are only now in the third um, density, right? If there's 15 layers, we are only at the third and fourth, right? Where time is the fourth. And so wherever we move, we can see, like, let's say this is pen, right? We are in the middle part of this pen over here, and the bottom is at the core of the earth and the center. So it doesn't matter where we move, and then this part is connected to, like, in space, where it's like infinite. This is like the end of space, and this is at the core of the earth. And wherever we move, we create a point that's projected out directly from the end of the universe until where the core of the earth. And wherever we move, we're connected to that. And the more energy we can stream through that, that is how we can affect affect the planet around us, or even the area around us and the people around us. It's through this conscious connection, through this link, basically. And silence and stillness is how that is our power, our psychic power. The more silent, the more quiet and the more silent we can become, the greater our power is at the end of the day. Because our mind is a brilliant tool, but it gets in the way, right? Especially when we need to work with our heart, and our mind just it's like wants to, like, jump. Is like, hey, but let's do this rather. And then, but your heart knows exactly where it needs to go and what it needs to do. So silence is the way.
So with this being said now, Ruan, if you agree, of course, I'll put you on the spot without you knowing this. And I feel really guided to actually do, you know, to drop down into that silence through meditation, and to use that, embrace that psychic power and spread our light into the areas that we live, so everybody around us can feel it. Would you like to do that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Amazing. Let's see what we are guided. I'm just gonna mute myself, and let's see what you come up.
Yeah,
Let the divine
beautiful.
flow.
All right. So wherever you are, I invite you to take a conscious, deep, 3 deep breaths in and out through your nose. And take another one. And just hold it at the bottom for a brief moment. Take another deep breath in. And then as you exhale, drop into the silent chamber within your heart. Feel the space. Feel the vastness within the space. And as you take a breath in, breathe into the space a spark of brilliant white light. And you can see the spark as like a levitating flame, like a small flame. And you can play with it if you want, because this little spark represents something much greater that's about to unfold. Give this spark just some love and some gratitude for joining you in this space of silence within your heart. Now take a couple of deep breaths in and breathe life into this spark. Allow it to grow in size. See it growing into the size of a tennis ball. And then into a football ball. And then it starts to grow as big as you can even fit inside of it. Continue to breathe life and light into this ball of light. See it growing and multiplying in size. Your house is already enveloped and immersed within this ball of light, within the heart, within the chamber of your heart. Continue to breathe as this ball grows. Your whole town or city is now enveloped within this ball. Allow it. Breathe in compassion and love into this ball. Breathe in your intention into this brilliant ball of light. Your whole country, the whole continent that you are living in is now enveloped into this ball of light. Expansion is the natural order of the universe. Allow your ball within the chambers of your heart to expand. The whole northern hemisphere, the whole hemisphere that you're in is now enveloped into this light. Continue to breathe in brilliant white light and any color light that is your intention. Breathe it in as the whole planet is now enveloped into this brilliant white ball of light within the chambers of your heart. Breathe in healing, compassion, peace, love, gratitude for life, appreciation, and willingness to learn new things, and willingness to admit that there's more to life than what I thought of. Now, as this light still expands into space, the magic is happening in the center of your heart where it originated from. It's your intention which affects everything within this ball of light. Now, if you can repeat within your heart, because this ball is a beautiful ball, it's like an entity of itself because of love. It radiates, it grows, it can expand and do this by itself. So repeat after me silently in your heart. Dear brilliant ball of light, thank you for the change that you are bringing onto this planet. Thank you for anchoring in unconditional love for every being, plant, animal, living, or just single-celled. Thank you for anchoring in love and life. And I hereby command and program you, beautiful, brilliant ball of light, to remain in place even after I take my consciousness off of you, and continue to do all this and more. And take a beautiful breath in. And as you exhale, you can open your eyes. Thank you, everybody, for participating in that. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much for guiding us. It was absolutely incredible. And yeah, I didn't want it to stop. We can
Well,
come
it's
back.
not stopping, it's carrying on at the moment.
That's right. Yes, yes.
And the beauty about it is, if you want to sustain this brilliant ball of light, you can just bring your consciousness back to it, and you can infuse different intentions into it. And yeah, it's a continuous process. So yeah.
It was absolutely beautiful. You can come back anytime to this guided meditation as well, guys, and spread the word. If you feel like there is somebody who needs that today, shoot them a link to this video as well.
Amazing. Yeah, is there anything that you still feel guided to share? Any last words of wisdom that you want to share with the people?
I just want to thank you, everybody, for being you. Thank you for sharing this space with us. Thank you for shining your lights. Thank you for wanting to be more. Thank you for being more. Thank you for being you. And thank you for being.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and remember, it's important to do, and it's just as important to be. Yeah, thank you so much for everybody that's always showing up. We appreciate you so much, and thank you, Raina, always for showing up as well. And just go about this new, for me, every day is a new start of the week, right? If I follow one pattern when every day is a new day, right? It's a new page, it's a new chapter if you're willing to write. So take my homework for you guys today is take a piece of paper or take out a journal and just write a page. Just write a page and write a letter to yourself and just thank yourself and just let it flow out and see what comes through. Because now more than ever, our inner child, our inner being, that space of silence needs to be heard, and it's only heard through whispers. And one way to get it out is through writing. So write a letter to yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Give it a voice. drop into that
exactly.
silence and let it talk to you.
Yeah, we just got a couple of comments, then we'll close off there. Sam mentioned earlier, wouldn't it be good if we can create what we need and want? A practical fast car. I love that so much. And then Sam also mentioned, oh, that's really interesting about Gridwork. A good explanation. Thank you. And then Sam also mentioned, thank you both. Beautiful meditation.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this space. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining. It's always a pleasure. And till next time, live long and prosper. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.